Hello, how are you all doing? I am Angelo. Uh, I hope all of you are doing great. And we are getting closer to the paper two for GCSE Math. And I am here to help you prepare for the paper two Foundation Maths specifically. I am making this video specifically for one person. You know who you are, but this is also for anyone trying to prepare for the paper two this year, 2025. The paper two prediction that we have right now is from Hannah Kettle Maths on YouTube. You can visit her channel and her website link in the description. And I will try to create my own in the coming days. We'll see. If not, maybe I'll look for another one that I can answer and help you guys. And yeah, that's it. Let's start. So anyway, get your coffee, get your whatever drink you have, and let's get right to it. Get out your paper, pen, and calculator, and let's get right to it. You can pause it till you get ready. But anyway, let's do this. So let's start with Miss Hannah Kettle's predicted paper two first. Oh yeah. So again, just a quick thing. Um, this paper and the other papers is for 1.5 hours. Okay, 90 minutes. So mostly what I tell my students is that you should be done within 1 hour, and the 30 minutes would be for checking, going over your work and then checking. I myself, I know it's not fair to compare you to myself, but I have done many of these papers before, and I have timed myself doing them, and I can finish them in around like less than 30 minutes. So I think it is definitely possible for you guys to be doing it in double the time, so 1 hour. You just need to make sure that you're okay with the topics and you're good with the paper techniques. Now, for paper two, definitely this is a calculator paper, so you have to be friends with your calculator. You need to know all of the tips, the tricks, the functions in your calculator so that you can maximize all of them. So if you can use your calculator in a question, you should use your calculator. That's the rule. Okay. I am going to be teaching you non-calc and calc methods, so you can freely skip it if you don't want to listen to the calc methods, the non-calc methods. But it depends on how many marks. You may or may not have to put in a little bit of working out. So in most of them. So I think just listen to everything. All right. And here it says write down the value of the 5 in the number 3507. So I still see a few people getting these wrong. So again, what you want to start with is just find where it is. So 5. If the clue is in saying it, 3507. So you would write it down as 500, 500s, or like 500. But I prefer this one. Okay, next. Write 52% as a fraction and give your answer in simplest form. So percent, like per cent, is made up of two words. Per meaning for each, cent meaning 100. So percent means out of 100, basically. So if you see a 52%, that means 52 out of 100. And as you can see here, both of them are even, so you can divide by 2. You can use your calculator for this. 52 divided by 2 is 26. 100 divided by 2 is 50. And then again, even, so you can divide by 2 one more time. So it'll be 13 and then 25. And put it in your calculator, always to check if it's simplified or not. 13 out of 25. If it comes out as 13 over 25 again, or like whatever you type, fraction you type, it comes up as that. That means that it's already simplified. So it is in this case. Now, of course, you could have just gone and typed it in straight, 52 out of 100, 13 out of 25 straight. Although, since this is 2 marks, probably should show a little bit of this. Okay. Next, write the following numbers in order of size. So in here, the easiest way would be to take note of how many decimal places is maximum for all of the given numbers. So in here, you got 3 in here. That's the maximum. So you would just write down 3 decimal places for all of them. So 0.480, 0.400, and then 0.050, so 50. And then you would look at them as just 480, 400, 45, and 50. And it's very easy to order them now. So which one's the smallest one? Definitely 45. However, the things that you do to help you, like putting in zeros or just writing these numbers, those are not the numbers that you're going to write. You're going to write the given ones. So 0.045, cross that out so you don't write it again. And then after 45 is 50. So 0.05 only. We don't put the 0 that we added. And the next is 400. So 0.4. And then 0.48 at the end. Next, round to 1 decimal place. So from the decimal point, you go count 1. So the 7 is what you're gonna round. You look to the right. 8, that is 5 or more. So that means that we round up. You add 1. 34.8. One thing to note as well is that you have to, even if it's 0, if it said 1 decimal place, you have to give 1 decimal place. Like let's say it was 34.03 and it's 1 decimal place, you would write 34.0. Okay, just because it's 0 doesn't mean you're gonna write just 34 if they're asking for 1 decimal place. Right. Write down all the factors of 24. I think the best ways that I have seen is this. 1, always start from 1 and then go from there. 1 times 24 is 24. That's mostly what students forget, the 1. And then you go up from there. So after 1 is 2. Does 2 go into 24? Yes, because it's even. 2 times 12. And then next 3. Does 3 go into 24? One quick way to find if it's divisible, if a number is divisible by 4, is you add the digits. So 2 plus 4 is 6. And then check, is that divisible by 3? Yes. So that means that 24 is divisible by 3. So 3 goes in. 3 times 8. Again, as well, let's say you want to check if 24 is divisible by 3, since this is a calculator exam. Just divide by 3 and then you get 8 as well. You can do that. And then 4, does 4 go in? Yes, 4 times 6. So the good thing about this technique is slowly we're going into the middle, into the middle, into the middle. And then we are basically narrowing down the possible factors that we need to check. So between 4 and 6, there's only 5 left. So does 5 go into 24? No. So we know for sure that that's the answer. I mean, there's no other factors that you need to check. This is it. Okay. For some of you, there would be some function that could help you factorize. I think, wait, 24, hit equals, and then you go shift factorize. Oh, but this is for prime factors. Yeah, that's for prime factors. We'll go back to that later. Simplify this. As I always teach my students, you can circle the terms that have the same variable, like terms. So for including the sign in front. So let's start with b, plus 2b minus b. So 2b minus b is b. And then you got 3c minus 5c, which is minus 2c. And then you got plus 12 remaining. Next, 4 times 7 is 28. And then times a times t, you can't combine it because it's not the same variable. So just put them together like that. Next, I'll show you two methods for this one. I prefer this first one. So you got 4 multiplied to the whole 2x minus 5 equals 28. So since it's multiplied by 4, you can divide by 4, both sides, to remove it. So you got 2x minus 5 left on the left side. And then 28 divided by 4 is 7. What I always say as well is we're going outside in. From the outside into the x. So you'd want to remove the minus 5 first. As a rule, well, not really, like in general, you are going to do the division at the end. So if you feel like you want to do division in the beginning, maybe check first, unless it's like this. Okay, 7 plus 5 is 12. This goes away, you got 2x. And then you divide by 2 to just get x. 12 divided by 2 is 6. The other step is to expand it first, which I don't like because it would take a while. But I mean, it is the more straightforward method, I suppose. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. You got 28 there. Plus 20 here. Plus 20 to remove it. And then you got 28 plus 20 is 48. Divide by 8, and then x equals 6. If you do it properly, it doesn't matter. You should get the same answer. Next, 46% of 240. So, percent to decimal, you basically just move the decimal point 2 to the left. So it'd be 0.46. If you don't see a decimal point, it's basically at the end. Just do 2 to the left. Off, just think of it as times, and then 240 is 240, and then you just pull out the calculator, 0.46 times 240, and that's it. You got 110.4. That's it. You can just go and do in the calculator 46 and then find the percent symbol. See if I have the percent symbol there. For 46%. Times, I think it's times for this calculator there, and you should get the same answer. You don't need to change the decimal, but I think it's better to change so that you don't need to look for the percent symbol, and it's easier to put in the working out. And most of the time, the mark scheme would have this anyway. Yeah. So I think, yeah, just forget about that. Just do this. Next, here's a triangle drawn on a centimeter grid. What that means is that this is 1 centimeter, and then this is also 1 centimeter. Draw a rectangle equal in area to this triangle, and then find the perimeter of your rectangle. So it says same area, so that means that we need to find the area of the triangle first. Area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Base in here looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 centimeters, And then the height would be starting from the base, perpendicular straight up to the highest point of the triangle. So right there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, so 4 centimeters. The area then is going to be 4 times 7 divided by 2. 4 times 7 is 28, divided by 2 is 14. So we need to create a rectangle that has the same area of 14 square centimeters. Now, area for a rectangle is just length times width. The easiest I can think of right now is 7 times 2 to get 14. So we just need to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh no, one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. And then 2 here. That's it. So that will be a rectangle with area of 14 square centimeters. So since this is 7 centimeters, 2 centimeters width, then that means that we can find the perimeter of the rectangle, which is basically, you just add everything. 7 plus 7 is 14. 2 plus 2 is 4. So 14 plus 4 is 18. Done. Here's a list of numbers. Juliet says to work out the mean, you need to put all of the numbers in order and find the middle number. So the mean is 10. Juliet is wrong. What has Juliet calculated? So I think you should know this already. If you're trying to find the mean, you're going to have to add everything and then divide by how many you have added. That's your mean. Median is basically the middle. Median, middle. So you would arrange them in order first from smallest to largest, and then you go pick the middle number, which is basically what she did in here. Juliet has calculated the median. Calculate the actual mean for the data. For the mean, you don't have to rearrange it from smallest to largest. You just need to add everything. So add everything like this. And then you divide by how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. So it'll be, you can just write it as a fraction. So it's straight. 10 plus 29 plus 14 plus 7 plus 6 plus 23 plus 8 divided by 7, like this. They didn't really say how many decimal places, so we're just going to go for 3 significant figures, which you should do if they don't say anything about what they want. 13.857 is what we have. So the third significant figure is 8. Next number is 5, so we round up. 13.9. I think you should just write it here as well. 10 plus 29 plus 14 plus 7 plus 6 plus 23 plus 8 divided by 7. There you got that. Tom is going to have a meal. He can choose 1 main course and 1 dessert from this menu. Write down all the possible combinations Tom can choose. So this is how you're going to do it. You're going to exhaust all the possible combinations for each main course first, or whatever is coming first. So in here it's main course. So you go, oh yeah, normally what the creators of the exams do is they specifically pick words that have a different starting letter so that you can easily just shorten it. And here you can just do that. So pasta and then sorbet, and then pasta jelly, and then pasta mousse. So no other combination that includes pasta is available, so we move on. Okay, burger sorbet, burger jelly, and then burger mousse. Done. Next, fish sorbet, fish, jelly, fish, and then mousse. That's it. Another way you can maybe check is this. With questions like these, there's something called the fundamental counting theorem. You don't need to know that name, but the thing is, if you have two things, let's say, uh, where you have to choose the number of options here, 3, number of options here, 3. What you're going to do to check is you go 3 times 3. If, let's say, there's another category in here and then there's 2 choices, let's say drinks, then you would do 3 times 3 times 2 to find out the total number of ways you can combine them. In this case, 3 times 3, 9. So that's one way to check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's it. We got the right number, at least, the right number of combinations. Right. Next, a shop sells grass seed in 800-gram boxes or 2-kilogram bags. Here is some information about the cost of the grass seed at the shop. Okay, so for the box, it's $3.75. For the 2 kg bag, it's $9.50, which is the better value for money, the 800-gram bag or a 2-kilogram box. So normally, you would want to find some set amount for each and then find out how much those cost for each. So let's say you can buy 5 apples for this much. You can buy 10 apples for this much for another box or choice. And then you check, oh, how much is 1 apple for each? And then whichever is lower, that's the better value for money, right? In here, though, it's in grams and kilograms. So don't get caught by that, okay? Always check the units. Always check the units. I think let's just change the 2 kg to 2,000 grams first. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. Okay, kilo means 1,000. So if you put this prefix in front of something, it means 1,000 of that. So kilometer means 1,000 meters. Kilogram means 1,000 grams. Anyway, 2 kilograms is 2,000 grams and 800 grams here. Since you're going to do calculator methods anyway, I would just do maybe how much is 100 grams, right? So if you want to go from 800 grams down to 100 grams, you're going to have to divide by 8, right? So this is our thing to note in there. Now, from the 2,000 grams, you want to go down to 100 grams. What do you divide it by? You don't need to think about it, but if you can use the calculator, why not? 2,000 divided by 100 is 20. So if you divide by 20, you get 100 grams. So that means that we are also going to have to divide the corresponding prices by that much so that it's proportional. So 375, that's for 800. If we want the price for 100, then we divide that by 8. The 950, that is for 2 kg or 2,000 grams. If you want to find out how much 100 grams would cost, you divide by 20 as well. So 375 divided by 8, you get that much. I'll just write the whole thing. And then the other one, 9.50 divided by 20 is 0.475. So we always check from the left side place values to find out which one's bigger. So 0, 0, nothing there. 4, 4, nothing there. 6, 7. So that means that this is bigger and this is smaller. Now, do you want to pay a bigger amount of money for the same thing or a smaller amount of money for the same thing? So of course you want the smaller amount. So that means that this is the better buy, the 800-gram box. The question is, which is the better value for money? The 800-gram bag or I think they flipped this. I think they meant the 800-gram box and 2 kilogram bag. So that's what you're gonna write. So 800-gram box. In real life, normally they would make it so that if you buy more, it would be a better value for you. But and that's mostly the case in exams as well. Although you just need to be careful. Sometimes they change it up, make it interesting. All right. So this one, the value of x is a prime number, which is bigger than 24 and less than 30. Calculate the number of y. So in here, the value of x prime number. So let's write down the numbers between 24 and 30. So you go 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So definitely if it is an even number, it is not a prime, except if it's 2. So that's out. 25 ends in a 5, so it's in the 5 times tables, not prime. 27 is in the 3 times tables. If you do 2 plus 7, 9. 9 is divisible by 3, so no, so it must be 29 then here. Oh yeah, by the way, let's just go back to prime numbers for a sec here. I think the easiest definition for prime numbers would be that these are the numbers that have exactly 2 factors only. Not more, not less. So that means that 1 is not prime because it only has 1 as the factor. 1 times 1, it is 2, but not really. It is the same number, right? So it only has 1 factor. 2 has 1 and 2. 1 times 2. So those are 2 distinct numbers that are factors. So it is prime. 3, and so on. So, and also 0 is not prime. 0, not prime. It has many factors. So 2 is the only even prime number. So all the other even numbers are not prime. Okay, so this is an angle around a point. Well, 2 angles around a point. So that should add up to 360 degrees. So to get the other angle, then you just subtract. Use the calculator. 360 minus 29. Just make sure you're typing it correctly. 331. Done. ACD is a straight line. When they say ACD is a straight line or something is a straight line, that's kind of like a clue to you that maybe you're going to use the fact that if you have a straight angle, this is 180 degrees. So just by reading that, they haven't told you anything yet. Keep that in your head because probably you're going to use that. Work out the size of angle CBD. So CBD, so this angle right here, then that's the missing bit. Give a reason for each stage of your working. So, as you can see, there is a straight angle there. That's one thing. There is a triangle in here as well. So that's one thing. Now, in here, we have 2 angles that make up a straight angle, 51 and something else. Now, if this is like the planning stage of the question. Once you know this, and once you know this, you know 2 angles out of 3 inside a triangle. So that means that you can find the third one, which is our x. Done. You just need to execute it properly. 180 minus 51 would give us BCD. 180 minus 51 is 129. So I normally like to label, like put in the new information that I know in the figure so that I don't forget. And then, you have a triangle in here. So you go 129 plus 31. That is 160. And then 180, which is what the angles inside a triangle would add up to. 180 minus 160, you get 20. That's the final answer, 20. Now, it says, give a reason for each stage of your working. The first step that we did, we took away 51 from 180. we call these angles that make up the straight angle linear pairs. Um, so linear pairs add up to 180 degrees. Or angle, what else can you call it? I think linear pairs is fine, like if it's only split into two. Or maybe you can say angles that make up a straight angle, make up to add up to 180. If you see the word supplementary, also means adding up to 180. In here, the next step, the interior angles of a triangle add up to 180 as well. You should try to write down words legibly. I'm just rushing it. So that's why my penmanship is like that. But yeah, try to write it properly. Neil left his home at 8 a.m. and walked to the supermarket. Supermarket is 2.5 miles from his home. He got to the supermarket at 8:40. Work out the average speed Neil was walking at. Normally, schools would teach DST, triangle, like this. If you're looking for speed, it's distance divided by time. If you're looking for time, it's distance divided by speed. If you're looking for distance, it's speed times time. Easy to remember. Just go, it's DST, okay? DST. We're looking for speed though, so that is distance divided by time. Time elapsed, okay? So how much time has passed? For these questions, you need to be careful. Look at the answer. They want miles per hour. Miles per hour. So the distance needs to be in miles. The time needs to be in hours. Now, we know it's 2.5 miles, so that's your distance. And it went from 8 o'clock to 8:40, which is 40 minutes after. But that is not miles per minute, it's miles per hour. So you need to change that to hours. Now, how do you do that? How many minutes per hour? Every 60 minutes is 1 hour. So how many 60 minutes are there inside 40? Doesn't quite make sense, but you just divide by 60 to find out how many 60s there are inside 40. In this case, it would be less than 1. So anyway, you got 40 over 60, which if you divide 20 on top, 20 at the bottom, you would also get 2/3. As you can see here, the decimal is non-terminating, just keeps going. So I do not suggest for you to write down 0.7 or 0.67. In general, if you can, do not round at all in the middle steps. You only round at the end. Because if you round here, if you round there, once you get to the end, your answer is just far away from the answer in the mark scheme. So if you can help it, don't round in the middle steps. So this is 2/3. I'll just use the fraction, so I don't need to deal with the pesky decimals. So I'll put it here. It's 2/3 hours. So again, you're using a calculator anyway. Just divide it. 2.5 divided by 2/3 hours. You get 3.75 exactly. 3.75 miles per hour. Sometimes written like that, sometimes written as mph. Neil, again, spent 38 minutes in the supermarket and then walked home. He took 50 minutes to walk home. At what time did Neil get home? So it was home at 8, got to supermarket at 8:40, spent 38 minutes on the supermarket, so it'll be 8:40, and then spent 38 minutes. I'll just put 0 hours, 38, and then took 50 minutes to walk home. That's a very long walk home. Doesn't Neil have a bike or something? So I go 50 minutes like this. I actually like just going straight and adding that. Just keep in mind, though, that 1 hour is 60 minutes, okay? It's not 100, 60 minutes. Okay. 40 plus 38 plus 50 is 128 minutes. Then you have 8 hours here. Now, what we need to do is to find out how many 60 minutes there are in our minute section. That's definitely not the right way to tell the time, right? So you go 128 divided by 60. And you can see it's 2.133. So basically 2 whole hours are inside the 128. So it's like you got 60, 60, and 60 plus 60 is 120, right? Then you have an extra 8 minutes. So if it's 8 a.m. in the beginning and you're adding 2 more hours, 2 more 60 minutes, then that means that it's now 10, right? And then you have an extra 8 minutes, so 10:08. Did they say a.m.? Okay, they said a.m. Right, a.m. I think, yeah. Is it still? Yeah, it's still morning, of course. There are 400 stickers for sale in the store. Sally buys 5/8 of the stickers. Sally then gives 3/5 of her stickers to Shona. Write the number of stickers Sally now has to the number of stickers Shona has. Okay, give in the form 1 to n. So, okay, Sally buys 5/8 of 400. 5/8 of, so if you see percent of or fraction of, it's just times. Okay, it's just times. And then 400 here. Without a calculator, you go 400 divided by 8 and then multiply by 5. But with a calculator, it's just 5/8 times 400 is 250. Now, this is the main thing that I feel the students kind of forget thinking about while they're doing these longer questions. Every number that you put in needs to make sense to you. If you put in 250, this is not just random 250. This has to mean something in the question, okay? We found 5/8 of the stickers, and Sally bought 5/8 of the stickers from the store. So this is the 250 stickers that Sally originally had. Okay, you can write some stuff to make you remember, like Sally Orig, like that, just to make you remember, or maybe so that the whoever checks it has an idea of what your numbers mean. This would, like, putting Sally Orig takes 2 seconds, but it could cost you marks. So better to just label it, or if you can, just remember what it means. But I would suggest just write down what it is. Sally then gives 3/5 of the stickers to Shona. So 3/5 times 250. So 250 divided by 5 times 3. Or just 3/5 times 250. That's 150. So 150 stickers. This is for Shona. Now, the ratio that we're looking for is for this number of stickers that Sally now has. Not for the original, but the amount that she now has. So 250, that's the original. And then you subtract 150 that was given to Shona. So 250 minus 150. You can put it in the calculator. It's 100 stickers. So this is the amount that Sally now has. This, and then this is the amount that Shona now has. So that's what you want. This is a ratio, and it is very you need to consider the order. So they said Sally and then Shona. So Sally first. Sally has 100. Shona has 150. So if you just want to simplify that, you can go like 100 out of 150 to 2 to 3. But this is a special thing. They want the answer in the form 1 to n. So they want 100 to become 1, and then 150 to become some number n. So how do you go from 100 to 1? Don't say minus 99. No. For ratio, you would only either multiply or divide to get another equivalent ratio, okay? No add, no minus. So in here, we divide by 100 to get 1. So we do the same thing on the other side. 150 divided by 100, you move the decimal point 2 to the left, so you go 1.5. That's the final answer. Again, you can use a calculator for that if you want. 70 students from year 10 and year 11 are asked their favorite hot drink from coffee, hot tea, and hot chocolate here, year 10, year 11. Right. So in here, they said 70. This is total, this is total, this is what we call the grand total. So that's where you put the 70. That's everyone. So we're done here. 33 students are in year 10. The total for year 10 is right there. So you go 70 here. Oh no, sorry. It said 33. Oops. So always check your work. Always check your work. Done. 18 of the 20 students who said coffee are in year 11. So of the 20 students who said coffee, so there's 20 students who said coffee. So coffee here, that's a total. So must be 20. And 18 of them are in year 11. There. 12 year 10 students preferred tea. So this is specifically year 10 tea right here. 12. 19 students preferred hot chocolate. So 19 here total. Okay, so we're done there. Now we just try and solve the two-way table on our own. What do you add to 33 to make 70? So you go the other way. 70 minus 33, 37, right there. Now in here, we only have one missing as well, so do the same thing. 20 plus this is 70. So let's just add these two first. 20 plus 19 is 39. And then if you take that away from 70, 70 minus 39 is 31. And then, as you can see here, in this column, there's only one missing. 31 is the total. So you take away 31 minus 12. Take away 12. So 19 there. Almost done. Here you got 18 plus 19 something, and then 37. So 18 plus 19 is 37. And, the total is 37. Apparently, that's it. Because you can't add anything to 37 to make 37. It would go over. So it must be 0. So apparently, no year 11 student said they liked hot chocolate. Interesting. So here, we got something plus 0 is 19. So it's 19 here. So all the people who like hot chocolate were at year 10. Interesting. So in here, 18 plus what is 20? It's 2. So let's just do a quick check. Is this actually 33? 2 plus 12 plus 19. 2 plus 12 plus 19 is 33. And 18 plus 19, the second row, is 37. And it is 37. So nice. We got all that. One of the students who preferred tea is chosen at random. So be careful here. It's not always going to be taken from the whole group. In here, one of the students who preferred tea. So that means that we're going to pick from only these people. So it will be out of 31. Write down the probability that this student is in year 11. So here, 19 are going to be from year 11, but the total of the people who like tea is 31. So it'll be 19 out of 31 here. For probability, you do not need to concern yourself with simplifying it. You can just write it as is. What was the modal choice of hot drink? Mode or modal, modal whatever, is the most frequent one. So the thing that came up the most. So coffee came up 20 times, tea came up 31 times, and hot chocolate came up 19. So it seems that T is the winner. It's the modal choice. Here are the first 5 terms of an arithmetic sequence. Find an expression in terms of n, nth term of the sequence. So they're looking for the nth term formula, which is some formula that you can use to find any term on this sequence. One thing that students, it's a basic thing, but for some reason they are confused a little bit. N is basically just a number that would tell you the position of a term. So if n was 1, then we're talking about the first term. If n was 10, then we're talking about the 10th term. In here, I'll just tell you the shortcut in here. Using the first term. Okay. But you need to take a look at what's happening first. So 2 to 9, it's adding 7. And then you just check, is 9 plus 7 going to be 16? Yes. One other way to do it would be just 9 minus 2. Find out how much is the difference. So you go, 7. And you need to start with the common difference. The thing that you're adding or subtracting is the common difference. So you could start with 7 and then multiply by n. Multiplied by n because you're just adding a different number of 7s every time to the first term to get some term in the sequence. So that's why it's 7n. Now, you're going to test the first term. So 7 times 1 is 7. And then you want to get the first term 2, which is the reason why we plugged in 1 into the n. So 7 times 1 is 7. What do? You either add or subtract in this step. We need to subtract by 5 so that you would get 2. So that's it. This is the nth term formula. What I like to do is to do one more check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 30 is the 5th term. So let's see. 7 times 5 minus 5, is it 30? 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract by 5 is 30. So it is correct. So that means that 7n minus 5 is correct as well. This right here, if you have a power raised to another power, you multiply. So 3 times 5 is 15. So it'd be m to the 15. And it is the same for if you have multiple things inside a bracket raised to another power. What I like to do when I was in high school as well is to, if you don't see a power, put a 1 in it. It's 3 raised to 1. And then 3, and then I would do this just to make sure that I'm doing it properly. 3 times 1 is 3, so 3 raised to 3. Take note. You do not multiply the power outside to the number inside. You multiply to the power. Okay? Power times power, or exponent or index. 3 times 2 is 6, so it'll be x to the 6th. 3 times 4 is 12, so there. Now, normally what they want is for you to simplify this. Since we know what 3 raised to 3 is, just write it simply. 3 raised to 3, like that, or 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So we write 27, x to the 6th, y to the 12th. How many minutes do we have now? Around 49 minutes. I would have been finished by this time. I think you could have been finished by this time as well, if you follow the steps that I'm telling you. In here, you have, it says expand and simplify, which is basically giving you everything you need to know about this one. Expand first. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 5 is 25. This right here is the main mistake that people make. This negative sign. They would go 2 times x and then just go minus 2x, which would be correct, but they would do 2 times negative 3. Always include the sign in front. It's negative 2 times x, negative 2 times negative 3. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative times negative is positive, so it'll be positive 2 times 3 is 6. You got 5x minus 2x, that's 3x. You got 25 plus 6, that's 31. Georgia makes cookies after a long afternoon of revising. She mixes peanut butter and castor sugar in the ratio 8 to 7. Immediately for ratios, I would go P 8. C7, just so I don't need to read all of that again. She uses 200 grams of peanut butter. Work out the amount of caster sugar she needs to use. In here, they would normally give you some amount after the ratio. It could be like the total, it could be one of the parts, or it could be like a difference between two values in the ratio or more. But in this case, it's just the peanut butter. So that means that we're only looking at this part. If it was the whole, then we would have had to add 8 plus 7 to get 15 parts. But it's only peanut butter in here. So that means that 8 parts is equal to 200 grams. So to find one part, which normally you would always want to do for ratio questions like these, you divide by 8. And then 200 divided by 8 is 25. I'll teach you a quick mental math technique. I think you'll like it. If you're dividing by 2, you're halving one time, right? If you're dividing by 4, you're halving twice. So if you're dividing by 4, if you half twice, that would give you the same answer. And if you're dividing by 8, so half once, half twice, and then half 3 times, you would get 8. So let's try it here. What is 200 divided by 8? Let's half 200. That's 100. Half 100, that's 50. And then half 50, that's 25, which is this. Now, we want the caster sugar, which is 7 parts. So 7 parts then must be 25 times 7. So what's 25 times 7? 25 times 7 is 175. That's the amount of caster sugar you need. Jake buys a pair of trainers for 80 bucks, 80 pounds. Yeah, he sells them for 135. Work out his percentage profit. So this is the formula for the percentage profit. You would take the sales price, so how much he sold it for. You take away the cost, how much he spent to acquire or to get the thing. And then you divide by the cost so that you can compare it from the initial amount that he spent to get the thing. You would get a decimal there, so you would have to multiply by 100 to change it to percent form. So it'll be 135 minus 80. Sales minus cost, by the way, is profit. That's the profit. Cost is 80. All right, so you just go straight there. 135 minus 80 divided by 80 is 0.6875. And then times 100, that will give you 68.75%. It seems like it's the full answer, so let's just write the whole thing and do not round. A number h is rounded to 1 decimal place. The result is 3.0. Write down the error interval for h. So for this one, we are rounding to 1 decimal place. And the first decimal place, so after decimal place, this one, that is in the tenths, right? So what you want to do for questions like these is you go 0.1, which is 1/10 right there. Or you can type in 1/10 as a fraction if you want. And then you divide by 2. And 0.05. And this is going to be what you're going to either add or subtract. So 3 plus 0.05, that'll be the upper bound. 3 minus 0.05, that'll be the lower bound. So of course 3 plus 0.05 is 3.05, and 3 minus 0.05 is 2.95. So the lower one you put on the left, the higher one you put on the right. Right there. So if you round anything in between these two, you would get 3.0 in the first decimal place. As you can see, this is or equal to for this, meaning including 0.95, and in here it's not or equal to this. This is just a bound. Up to there, basically, is what they mean. Here, work out the perimeter of the shape. So this is a big thing that people get wrong as well. Perimeter is just all the way around the shape. Around, not in, So any lines that are inside the shape is not included. So you go that, we know that. This arc, we don't know that, say X. This, we don't know that, say R for the radius. And then we do that. And then we're back to the beginning. We know 9. So we need to find X, and then we need to find R as well. So what I see right now, it's a right triangle, and you're given 2 sides. So we can use the Pythagoras theorem to find the third side. And then once we know the radius and we know the angle, we can find the arc length. So that's the plan. In here, you can rewrite it if you want. The hypotenuse is 9, and then this is 6.4, and the radius is that. So if you use this, so we know C, it's 9 squared. Let's say A is R squared, and then plus B is 6.4 squared. So to find R squared, you would subtract. For those who know how to just do it straight, you can just do that, but this is like the step-by-step way. So you got 9 squared minus 6.4 squared. And then how do you remove the square? You square root. And then that's it. R is equal to square root of 9 squared minus 6.4 squared. That. They want just one decimal place, so you go 6.3 because the next digit is 2. So we round down. Okay. You need to catch yourself doing that. Let's just say that I planned that. Okay. So it's perimeter that they're looking for. That is the radius. So that's not it yet. The radius is 6.3. Wait. So the perimeter is going to be not this yet. So that means that we shouldn't round any of these, at least not to the 1 decimal place first. So you go 6.3277 maybe, 4 decimal places. I think the minimum is like 1 more decimal place than what's needed, but I just take way more, which is normally safer. So you go 6.3277, that's your radius. And how do you find the arc length? Let's say X, that's the arc length. It'll be the angle out of 360 to find out what fraction of the circle you want, and then times 2 pi r, which is going to give you the full circumference. 2 times pi times the radius, which is 3277. You can just plug that whole thing in. Since you have the full value of the radius in here, you can just use that. So in here we have square root of 9 squared minus 6.4 squared is 6.3277, and then you can just use that 155 over 360 times 2 times pi, and then times the answer. You can use the A and S key. So here you got 17.1181, let's say. So that is the arc length, 17.1181. And then finally, we're going to write down perimeter is equal to 6.4 plus 9 plus 17.1181 plus 6.3277. So 6.4 plus 9 plus 17.1181 plus 6.327 is 38.8. Yeah, 1 decimal place. I'm just going to keep that mistake that I made in the video, just so you see that that's how you notice a mistake. That's how you redo the thing, or like recalibrate your plans. Okay, that's why you check. That's why you check. The frequency table gives information about the length of 60 shoelaces. Normally, this is going to be just the total of everything. You can add it just to be sure. 8 plus 9 plus 14 plus 18 plus 11, 60. But normally it is that. Find the class interval that contains the median. So the median formula is this. N plus 1 divided by 2. That that wouldn't give you the median, but that would give you the position of the median. So since we have 60, we add 1, so that's 61, divided by 2 is 30.5. What does that mean? It's like the 30.5th term, which is basically the term between the 30th and the 31st. So we're going to do a cumulative frequency column in here, which is basically just adding the next row. So the 8 is just 8. And then for the next one, 8 plus 9, 17. Then 17 plus 14 is going to be 31. And then actually we can just stop there because we're looking for the 30.5th term. The second class in here contains up to the 17th term. In here, this contains up to the 31st term. And since the 30.5th term is between 30 and 31, then that means that it must be in here. 10 L 15, that's the class. On the frequency, draw a frequency polygon for the information in the table. So for a frequency polygon, what you want to do is find the middle of each of these classes. That will be the x coordinate, and then the frequency will be your y coordinate. So you can just go 0 plus 5 divided by 2 to find the middle, 5 plus 10 divided by 2 to find the middle, but I'll just write it here. So you got 2.58, that's your first, and then 7.59, that's your second coordinate, 12.514, 17.518, and 22.511. All right, so just make sure that you understand the scale of the graph to not make a mistake in here. If only you can just drag stuff on your paper, yeah? 2.5 is halfway between 0 and 5, so it's there. 2.58. So, oh yeah, this one right here. This is 5 to 10, so that means that's 5 away, right? 5 units away. But if you check, this is 10 steps. So that means that the 5 steps, that's from 5 to 10, so 5 units, I mean. 5, you need to divide that by 10 to find out how many steps, how many units each box is. So that means that each box is 0.5. That means that 2 boxes accounts for 1 unit. So you go, this is 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. So I'll just do that for the first one. 2.5, 8, that would be here. 7.59, which would be right there. 12.5, 14, which would be right there. 17.5, 18. And then 22.5, 11. Right there. So you just connect them. Use a ruler. That's it. Probability tree. Wait, how many more do we have here? Oh, almost done. So probability tree diagram shows the probabilities of Alan being late or on time to school on 2 days this week. Calculate the probability that Alan will be late on Monday, but on time on Tuesday. So late on Monday. So this one, and then on time on Tuesday. So this one we specifically want. So when we're trying to find the probability on an probability tree, so late and then on time, what you want to do is you multiply the individual probabilities that are on the branches. So it goes 0.1 times 0.95. 0.095, or you could have just moved the decimal point one to the left. Next, this is basically a do you know how to use a calculator type of question. So you just type it in very carefully, exactly as it is on here. So that, okay, so just write down all the figures that you have. 0.04335250816. And then they want you to give the answer in standard form corrected to significant figures. So 0.043. We need the decimal point to move 2 to the right to get here. 4.3, because the number in front in the standard form, the coefficient, needs to be between 1 and 10. It could be 1, but it couldn't be less than 1 or more than 10. So we go 4.3, 3525. You don't need to write all of that, but so that is going to be multiplied by 10 raised to -2 so that we can go back 2 steps to the original. Now we want 2 significant figures. So you go 1, 2. So it's this that we're going to round. Next digit is a 3. So we're just going to round down. So it's just 4.33, 4.3, 2 significant figures, times 10 to the -2. Next, use algebra to solve the simultaneous equations. What you want to do is to get either the x's or the y's to become the same, to have the same coefficient in front. So if that's not the case yet, then you're either going to multiply one of the equations by some number, or maybe both of them by some number so that you make either the x's or the y's the same. In here, if you can just multiply one of the equations instead of 2, then that'll be great. In here, that's the case. So 3, if you multiply 3 by 2, you would get 6. So let's do that. 3x plus 7y equals -12. Multiply all of it by 2. So 6x plus 14y equals -24. And then now I'll put it here. And then the other equation, I'll put it on top, underneath. And then you either add or subtract to remove the terms with the same coefficient. So if the signs are the same, meaning both plus or both minus, you would subtract, which is the case here. Or if it's like 6 and -6, then you would add if the signs are not the same. 6 minus 6 is 0. We got 14 minus -2y. So that means that it's add. So 14 plus 2 is 16. Then you go -24 minus 8. Again, you can use a calculator for this. And then you divide by 16, divided by 16. And -32 divided by 16 is -2. So there. And then you pick one of the equations. Pick the second one. Looks maybe easier. And then you're going to plug in the variable that you have found. In this case, we have found y first. So you're going to put it in here. 6x minus 2 times y, which is -2, and then equal to 8. -2 times -2, make sure you include the sign, is +4. and that equals 8. We minus 4. You got 6x equals 8 minus 4, which is 4. You divide by 6, divide by 6, you get 4/6, which is 2/3 if you simplify that. So x is equal to 2/3, and then y is -2. You can actually check your work for this simultaneous equations using your Casio calculator. So in here, you would go to mode on the top right. You go to equation 5, and then you go to 1. So 1 is ax plus by equals c, and which is this one. Ax plus by equals c. So our a in here is 3, our b is 7, and our c is -12. So what you want to do is plug it in 3, 7, and -12. And for the other one, it's 6. Hit equal every time you type in an A, B, or C. -2. And then 8. So as you can see in here, we didn't need to make the x's or the y's the same. This is just for you to check. Head equals again, you got x equals 2/3. Head equals again, you got y equals -2. So that's it. You are now sure that you did it correctly, and you can move on with peace of mind. So the diagram here shows a cuboid. Cuboid is made from solid gold, and okay. So in here, we can use another triangle thing here. Distance is mass divided by volume. So you can use that triangle, like MdV. Density is mass divided by volume. Let's take a look here. The unit is gram per cubic centimeter. That means that the weight needs to be in grams and the volume needs to be in cubic centimeters. Be careful there. This is in kilograms, so nope. Needs to be in grams first. Kilogram, right? So 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So we multiply that by 1,000, or just move the decimal point 3 steps to the right. So that's it in grams. And if you have a cuboid, the volume is length times width times height. So you go 6 times 3 times 4.5. You get 81. So cubic centimeters, because all of them are centimeters here. And then for the density is going to be the mass, which is 1,536 grams, divided by 81 cubic centimeters. So 1536 divided by 81. They didn't really say anything about how many decimal places, so I'll just write the first 4 significant figures, 18.96. And then we're going to round to 3 significant figures. So 9 is the third significant figure. So 6 is the next one, so it becomes 10. It's kind of like you go that and then you carry 1 there. So it would be 19.0. That's also something to remember. If you're doing 3 significant figures, it has to be including the 0. If you just write 19, then it's only 2 significant figures. Okay, last one, expanding and simplifying. That times that, that times that. Then done with 3x, this times this, this times this. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times -2x is -6x. 1 times x is x. And then 1 times -2 is -2. These two in the middle would have to combine. So you got 3x squared. -6x plus x is -5x. And then -2. Factorizing a full quadratic. All of them are positive. So it'll be x plus and x plus. And then the two numbers in here would have to multiply to give you 15, but have to add to give you 8. What are the factors of 15? It's 1 times 15 and 3 times 5. So definitely these would also give you 8 when you add them. So it'd be x plus 3 and x plus 5. And then factorize fully. Let's look at the numbers first. 16 and 24. It looks like 8 is the highest common factor in there. 8 times 2 would get us back to 16, says plus, so copy plus. 8 times 3 would get us back to 24. Now we look at the x's. The most of x's that they have both is just 1x. So we'll go 1x out. 8x times what to get x squared? X. X times what to get x? Nothing, it's already x. And then for the y's, the most that they have common is 1y. Y times what to get y here? It's already y, that's fine. Y times what to get y cubed? So y squared. That's it. 8xy, 2x plus 3y squared. That is it. I think I have explained it as much as I could. So if you have any other questions, you can put it in the comments below. And tell me if you want another paper to work on. And I'm going to try to upload it in the next few days. So, yeah. If you learned anything, leave a like and maybe share it to your friends and subscribe maybe. And definitely check out Hannah Kettle Maths. This is her predicted paper too. And you can also look at her other videos in her YouTube channel in the description. So that is it for me today. And I'll see you around. Bye bye.